Hey guys, Artie Quitter podcast. I felt it necessary to tape this quick beginning. We just finished doing the podcast, and I asked Danny if I could do this. At the very end of this podcast, I make a sort of stupid, dark joke that seems to be at Danny's expense. He didn't know I was going to do that. This shows two things. One of the reasons I got a podcast was I could do stuff like this. I could show human emotions and explain them. This shows a couple of things at the very end. First of all, on Danny's end, what it's like to work with an insecure, overly sensitive comedian, which at times is literally impossible, who can get offended at any moment for something that makes no sense except to them. Secondly, it shows that you'll see Danny is maybe the only guy who would keep going with this explanation he's giving at the end. And as a good producer, to hopefully make this idiot comic happy, Danny's one of the few people who would honestly be a good guy and keep going with the explanation he's giving. And then at the very end, I try to make a point with a dumb joke that hits Danny blindsided, and it leaves it hanging there. But you know what? I like Danny too much, and I respect you guys in the audience too much to not let you in on the fact that that's what was going on. And it's very awkward. It makes no sense. And nowhere, this is why podcasts are extraordinary. And again, Dan and I have, it looks like a real offer from a major entity to do a different version of this show for very, very good money. And it's tempting because of the money, and it's also working with amazing people I like. But what we will lose, I'm sure, in preliminary talks, are moments like this where, first of all, I can end the show how you just heard it ended, and then explain it like this, because what I was going for in my own dumb head, that no one was in on except for me. You won't hear this anywhere else except on a podcast in a guy's kitchen. And it's also why I love you fans more than anything. You're so loyal. Maybe this is interesting to some of you, but that's a look into my head. At the end, I make a very dumb, insulting joke that was part serious, part not. I don't know what, it was bitter and insecure like a pussy comic. I waited for a little while Danny was editing it, stopped him and said, let me record this at the beginning to let people in on it. You may hate this, you may not. You may find it a little interesting, funny, you may not. I promise you this, though. There's nowhere else except on this podcast where you'll hear this kind of broadcasting. And I challenge you to find a sponsor that will accept this. Okay? So the end is me trying to prove a point with a dumb joke, and now I'm explaining it. All right, that's it. That's today's podcast. I love you all. We had time constraints today, but tomorrow we'll go. Tomorrow might go late. It might be up late in the day, but we'll give you a nice long Thursday show or a fun show. If not, we will definitely do it in the weekend, Super Bowl weekend. I'm at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, New Jersey. This Friday and Saturday, 2 shows each night. Come out and have a fun time, because Danny's going to bring the mic. We're going to record some crowd stuff, and if not tomorrow, some point during Super Bowl weekend, patched together for my stand-up shows and the audience of the game, you will get a nice long next episode of the show. Maybe a Thursday version that's shorter, and then a Mecca one for the weekend that we might air Monday or whenever. 2 shows Monday, who knows? You'll get your money's worth of course, a quarter a day. All right, that's me explaining this. I love Danny. I love you all. And now the Wednesday version of the Artie Quitter podcast.
A Jack Daniel's swilling, pizza-eating, dog-hating, whore-using, cocaine-abusing, hairy-back, big-belly blowhard from New Jersey. The fat little bastard known as Artie Lang.
Hey guys, what's up? Super Bowl coming up, and creeping up on us. It's it's exciting every year, but a lot of cool stories this year based on just football, not crazy stuff. I mean, Cam Newton's pants, of course, a big story. Oh man, Dan, what the hell, buddy? And just football, good defense and everything. My guest today is, like I say before, a lot of the fans have been saying this too, by the way, because they're more active on Twitter now with the podcast, how much they love John Avello, because he's a combination of having a great sense of humor and knows his stuff with a real interesting job. And, really cool. A lot of people assume he gets a ton of Frank Sinatra type pussy. I'm not saying that either way. I don't know. That's his personal life. I hope he does. Or I hope he does whatever makes him happy. He's just a cool motherfucker, in my opinion. And he does all the bets for the Wynn Sportsbook at the Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas. The name of the hotel is Wynn. That's very subliminal. The great John Avello. What's up, John?
Artie, Are your guys really saying that on Twitter?
Yeah, well, listen, Twitter is, let me tell you something, John. Twitter is crazy. Twitter is all the lunatics as a fan, as a comedian or any type of a celebrity, that you're afraid getting one spot. Like, if all the lunatics who like you were in one room, you'd be afraid. That room is Twitter.
I think Frank Sinatra's cat, that's what they meant. Frank Sinatra's cat.
Well,
I think her name was Lola or something like that.
Listen, you're also a classy guy who doesn't really go there, and I don't press you on it. Of course, it's a Howard Stern type interview, but of course, all these lunatics, you got a cool job, and you seem like a cool guy. You're in Vegas. So I go, guys, I don't know what's going on here, and quite frankly, it's none of my business. I goof around on the air with certain people, but John is a guy who we like having on the show, and you treat people differently. John's, he doesn't talk about that. And, well, are you married? I don't even know about your personal life. You're a married guy.
I am.
Yes, okay. So, I mean, these idiots...
30, let me think about it now. 38 years.
Yeah, so these people on Twitter, all they do is try to create trouble. That's all they do. And they do it with me. They do it with me, too. I'm like, what do you... They think certain people are gay. They call some of these people I have on are comedians. That guy's gay. I'm like, how do you know that? He goes, oh, he sounds gay. I'm like, I know the guy for 30 years. They like to start so much trouble. And most of them are morons.
I'd like to be called that, Artie. I'd like to be called gay. So
see, can
you start that? Can you start that rumor?
I'm not going to start it, but that's a real man. That's someone secure. So you and your wife moved out to Las Vegas. You got married on the East Coast, I guess. You came out there, and she's someone who likes being around all that stuff, on the gambling and everything.
Well, not really.
Most wives,
we came out here. I'm from Poughkeepsie, New York, so we came out here after. We were married about a year. I don't even think it was a full year when we came out.
Right.
And, I could deal all the games, and that's the reason it came out. I wanted to come out and be part of the industry, and
it's a career. I mean, it's your career, Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, I was young, and money wasn't a big deal. It was just about coming out here and being part of the whole scene. I really enjoyed it, and then eventually I got into the race and sports side of it, which is when you go back and look at my history, that's kind of where I think I belong. But I got into that area about 1986 or so. But
well, I got to tell you, some women are smart enough to realize that, with men, and I've gone through this with women in comedy, that if a man is doing something that they love for a living, and that woman too now, obviously, because we made a lot of changes career-wise with people, but, it's so much better than, the alternative of a job you hate. Like, clearly you love this, and it's great to have a spouse that supports it, that sees, okay, you're happy doing this, and clearly you're going to be the one maybe paying the bills, and I'll do my end, and you don't see a lot of that anymore,
She supports me when I bring home the paycheck. She doesn't so much support me during the job because there's times she doesn't see me. Like, she hasn't seen me this week yet.
Right, of course. Yeah, you're busy. No, I know. Like, a lot of, that's what happens. People, I hate, hearing an adult, as an adult now, knowing the deal, tell a kid money's not everything. I mean, come on. Of course, money's not everything, but it's so important in life. It just makes it easier to deal with the bad times. Like, in other words, if you're broke and a bottle of ketchup falls in the kitchen, that could be a 4-hour argument, and that gets personal because of the aggravation. If the ketchup bottle falls and you got money, we'll clean up the ketchup.
Or we'll have our maid clean it up.
Exactly. I'll tell that person to clean it up. And then when that person goes home, they get mad about the ketchup. It's very, it just, again, it can't buy happiness. It can't buy love. It can't buy, cures for illnesses. But it can buy, contentment when the ketchup falls.
Well, see, at my house, Artie, what happens when the ketchup falls like that, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is, 6 to 5, you're going to clean it up. I mean, that's
she gives odds. Well, listen, I've been in some relationships when the ketchup falls, there's a good chance it's blood, not ketchup.
Oh.
And that's from her hitting me, by the way, with a $40,000 ring on her finger. Okay. Well, we love having you on. And the other part is you're entertaining. What I'm trying to say is 99% of the Twitter feedback on you is positive. They think you're cool. They think you're a good guest. They like what you offer. And that's rare on Twitter because mostly, the Twitter stuff is not positive. I had an actress on, a blonde actress who, had maybe gotten a little heavy, and someone called her obese Witherspoon. Okay, that's not good. They're mean, is my point. I announced my engagement.
Sounds like they can be, yes.
I announced my engagement. I got sappy, and the first tweet back was "Eat a dick, fatty." That's what the person said. Very sentimental. I knew you'd like that one. All right, so let's get into this. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to say there really are no major rumors. And we're talking about awkward rumors. I just did stand-up in North Carolina. And there is a major rumor, like what happened with Aaron Rodgers, that Cam Newton is homosexual or bisexual. I mean, a lot of good-looking guys who get famous go through this. Aaron Rodgers was the big story for a little while. And Dan, as a Bears fan, my God, would he perpetuate that? I mean, my God, as a Bears fan, it's like clearly Aaron Rodgers wasn't gay, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. I just saw him. He was out, and there was a couple of guys there. He was at a sports bar. Well, yeah, you know, there's all guys there. I don't know. I'm a Bears fan, and I just think he's gay. And, you know, whatever. And, of course, it gets proven wrong. But if Cam Newton is a new era, and Cam Newton might be the MVP, and if he came out, that would be a major, major thing for the gay community because Michael Sam is not going to help. You need a Jackie Robinson. You need somebody who's good. What do you think about this? If he was gay as a Carolina Panther, I have the perfect nickname for him. the Pink Panther. Could you imagine?
I like it.
Oh, my God. And every time he throws a touchdown, did. The money he would make. I mean, because it'd be embraced now as a good gay athlete. You get every type of, like I said, lube commercial, anything that's, sort of a, hey, Brian McKnight's playing in the background. Any sort of jukebox that has NSYNC on it, he could endorse. All the money's there that's not there in the heterosexual market. Your thoughts?
There it is. I guess my thoughts are, if I put a prop on it, will we know the results by Sunday?
Well, here we go. Here's the problem. I'm an asshole fan, clearly. And Dan is very offended. He looks depressed when I do that bit because I think Dan is secretly gay. Oh. But well, we'll get into that. But I listen, I think that, it's a new era. But here's what you can't control. Even if the players say they'll be good and the coaches, you can't control these crazy fans in the upper deck at like an Eagles game. Say an Eagles guy comes out and he's gay. They embrace him at first. But the first time that guy drops a pass in the end zone to lose a game that all those Eagles fans have money on in the upper deck, what you think they're going to be sympathetic towards the gay thing? I do not think so.
Oh, my God.
And they paid money for it. So they go, we paid money for our tickets. We could say whatever we want. It's America. And they're right. It's freedom of speech. It would be so nasty. That's why you'd have to go to someone, if a really great player in any sport was going to come out, and you'd have to go, man, you'd have to embrace them and go, this is so brave of you. But you got to realize what you're about to go through. Your fans and your players and teammates might embrace you. And the guys in the other team might, the coaches. But these fans really, really think about it. And for that reason, they never come out. So Cam Newton coming out before Sunday, what are the odds?
Well, I can't even. You'd come in. You'd sell your house and come in and lay because you know it's not happening before Sunday.
It's off the charts. Well,
you got to give me. If I could put the prop up before the summer, give me some time to write some business on it. Well, let the rumors spread a little more.
Don't you think subliminally he came out by wearing those pants? You're saying, look, who's going to pull that off? What guy will pull them off? Now,
no, not at all. That's just a statement that I'm Cam Newton and I'm coming to the football game and I'm just kind of out there looking different than everyone else.
John,
so I didn't see that as anything other than that.
John, how many cousins of yours who are good Italian men from New York would wear those pants?
I'm going to have to go with 0 on that
one. You know what? In my family, I got the same number. Okay, but again, a guy like that can pull up. I'll tell you, he is a great year. Is he the MVP? You think? Is he worthy of that this year?
Yes, he wins. He definitely wins the NFL MVP for the year. The question: does he win the Super Bowl MVP? Well, we have him the favorite for that too.
All right,
because if they do win the game, there's a good chance he's going to be MVP. He's going to be involved in every type of play, whether it's passing, running, what have you.
Okay, well, here we go. Here's the real super nuts of the whole game. It's a really great story. You got Peyton Manning, the legend, possibly his last game. First of all, off the top of your head, win or lose, is this Peyton Manning's last game?
Yes.
Okay. Even if he loses, still has something to prove. I think he wins, he goes out in the sunset, absolutely. But even if he loses, he's like, look, I tried one last time, I can't do it anymore.
Just look at his arm strength. It's gone.
Yeah.
He took off. He had that that break because of the foot issue, and then he came back and he still had no arm strength. So why are you going to put yourself through that again? I think he knows he's done, and I think he'll retire. Maybe not right after the game, but shortly after.
Competitive. You're right. I think the same reason he came back last time. But look, man, he really proved us wrong. I thought when he after Indianapolis and the neck injury, I said, you know what? I don't know. Back then, I thought he was done. And look, this is his second Super Bowl since then. Look, I was at the one in New York. And, man, what a terrible game. I mean, all the Broncos had a bad game. And I thought he'd retire after that. I'm like, he's really, really done. Now here he is in the bowl again. But I think getting to a prediction of the game, the Panthers favored. With that Panthers defense, I know the Broncos have a good one too, but with that Panthers defense and Cam Newton on the other side, I don't know, man. I think Panthers in a blowout, I think, right? I mean, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, that's the way the early money is showing too.
Yeah.
We opened this game 3.5. We're up to 5.5, so it's a 2-point move on a Super Bowl.
Major, right? That's rare.
It was all Panther money. Well, here's what you saw, Artie. You saw the Panthers play 2 playoff games at home against 2 pretty good teams.
Right.
You saw them play Seattle, and you saw them play Arizona, and they basically destroyed both.
They did, absolutely.
Right. Then you saw Denver just squeak by New England, and they beat Pittsburgh in a game maybe they shouldn't have won. But remember this, is that the teams that they beat, Denver, New England, who may be the best team in football, and Pittsburgh, who didn't have all their players but still has one of the top quarterbacks in the league, he beat 2 quality teams also.
Right.
Now, they weren't as pretty. That's
right.
for sure. They weren't pretty,
yep.
But that's what's left in the bettors' minds are the way that Denver snuck by and the way that the Panthers won easily, and that's why the game is being bet the way it is, at least early.
No, I listen. I have to say, I usually don't like going with that kind of money that quickly because it seems like sucker bets and people are acting stupid and impulsive, and it usually loses, or these people don't know what they're talking about. 2 points, a major thing. I got to agree with them this year. But Peyton, the intangible is the Peyton thing, the story of him. Can he will it? Can he do one more time where it's like he's got the karma and he pulls it out? But that's movie stuff, you know. Like Peyton Manning, a lot of people think he might not even should be starting the game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think the game has to be ugly.
Right. That's
what Denver wants, an ugly game.
Yeah.
They want a type of game where we, mistakes by the Panthers, they punt the ball a lot. If they get a game where if the Panthers are efficient and Newton's going down the field at will, then you're right. It'll probably be over early.
We were talking about this, another time, Peyton Manning out the other day on the show. Cooper Manning, of course, sells insurance. His 2 brothers have Super Bowl rings, and his father's Archie Manning. That, to me, is a very tough Thanksgiving for him. It's like his father maybe gets drunk and says, "Can you pass the gravy, Cooper? Can you pass anything?" I'd ask your brothers, but they have rings on. Your brothers' rings scrape the gravy thing. Can you pass it? It's like, they try to be interested in his life too. The parents are like, it's like, Eli and Peyton are going to the All-Star NFL event, the Hall of Fame thing. What do you got going on, Cooper? Oh, well, the couple that I sold life insurance to, they need term. These Steinbergs, I'm going to a barbecue at their house. Good luck. We're not going to that. Do you think it's hard for a Cooper Manning?
Well, I think he's sold both of his brothers' insurance, so he's made probably a good paycheck off the them. He had to insure those guys.
Do you have any Super Bowl rings? No, but I insured 3 of them.
I insured them. That's right. He insured their arms, their rings, their everything that they have, and their cars that they won as MVPs.
You know what? He's not. You know what? There is a Manning that's a worse quarterback than him. Unfortunately, it's the mom.
What's her first name? Do you know?
Joe Willie. I think about that all the time because there is jealousy, of course, and especially with football and stuff like that. But Peyton, to me, the Eli thing, the Peyton thing, talk about 2 guys. Archie Manning. legendary guy. He has 2 sons who make it to not only the NFL, maybe not special teams player. They're the quarterback and they win MVPs. They're beating people. How happy are you not to just see? And speaking of Eli, that's what makes me think of this. Eli is the only thing in between, Tom Brady and a perfect life. How happy are you not to see Tom Brady's face on the field this year? I mean, again, enough of them, right?
Well, as a bookmaker, I don't mind seeing him because to me it's all about the game, and that team draws interest. And Tom Brady and that whole team, I can make a lot of different types of wagers on.
Right.
A lot of bets. I can make a lot of prop bets. So I don't ever mind seeing the Patriots in it. Now, there's your Patriot haters out here. I mean, I hear it all through my book. I mean, I'm glad they're not in this year. I'm tired of seeing them. I'm glad somebody new.
Exactly.
So, I hear the chatter, but for me, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, right. There you go. You should be Kanye West with that one. I know. It's very the hype and everything. And the would you say in Vegas, we talked about this a little bit before, but I think it changes every year. Biggest weekend in Vegas, Super Bowl, big fight weekend, New Year's Eve, what is it?
No, Super Bowl's the biggest.
Always right, yeah.
Super Bowl's the biggest because it starts Friday. I mean, the guests are in today, and it's pretty crowded here now, but the guests really start coming in Friday, and so the entire hotel in town is packed for 3 straight days.
Oh,
the fight event's a big event, but it is just that one day.
Right.
The Friday before, there's a little bit of going on, but nothing like this. I mean, there's not lines to bet a fight. There's not lines where lines continue on for 4 hours to get, people betting. That just doesn't happen for anything but Super Bowl.
Right. And, I mean, look, the whores, the amount of money the whores make. I used to talk to, I used to frequent whores. I don't anymore, of course. But,
did you wait in line?
Well, that's the thing. When you get some... I've gotten to hookers before I was famous and after I was a little famous. What a different, different experience. It's like waiting online for that shrimp buffet for $4, or you get a contact at the nice restaurant. And I talk to those whores, because they don't want to get out of the room quickly. Maybe they got a nice warm place to stay for a while. They need socks. And I say to them, I say, you could stay up here for a little while, but, I got to call back east, so X-nay on the yelling, eh? And, and again, I've said this in my act, for you young kids, John, if you talk to any young kids out there and you have any programs, tell them that Artie Lang says, if you give a hooker money to go and get cocaine, she'll never come back with the cocaine. Never. Never. If you give them money to get peanut M&Ms, they don't come back either.
So, Artie, have you been with one of those ladies of the evening during the Super Bowl while the game was going on?
Oh, absolutely.
You have? Okay.
Yeah, because it goes too late. You lay there, you get lazy. She's rubbing your forehead with a nice warm towel. And you realize she doesn't want to leave either because, not because she's into you, because if she leaves, I don't know, I guess she's going to get a beating for something that happened the night before or something. She wants to stick around and talk. No, and that's what happens, John. You realize you get into each other's lives. And I've had some hookers open up to me.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I have. And I'm like, that's fine. That's fine. They open up. Sometimes the scab opens up, but they open up. They like being in that. They like being treated nicely because some of these frat boys, they get there, they think they're a big deal, or they get someone who's dangerous, doesn't want to pay them, stuff like that. And they know I'm nice because I have a bit of reputation out there. But the famous thing is what gets you really, really scared because when I was on Stern, you're afraid they're going to call and, hey, it's Raven, that type of thing, the worst thing ever.
Where do you put the money when you're in the room? Do you put it in the safe? You leave it on the dresser? You trust them?
Here's what I do.
Or do you just have chips?
They're hip to everything. Here's what I do, and it's very, very hard. When I have to leave to maybe use the bathroom or something or go in the other room, I make the woman clap. And a lot of them are hip to the jive. They know why, because I say if you stop clapping, I know some might be going south here. And they're like, okay, so I just hear this. And sometimes while I'm doing a number 2, I hear that it's kind of like a mother applauding for their son, like, hey, you went number 2. Dan just threw up laughing. You get like you're getting potty trained. And as a comedian, you're used to applause, like when you're doing anything. You're in there taking a leak, you just hear. But John, if you hear this, you're like, okay, where's my watch? No, yeah, I tell you, it's very difficult with the chips because I had a couple of casinos that were so generous because I would make them money, especially on Stern. I'd sell out a lot big theater, 4,000 seats, and my fans are going to lose money. By the time they get to the seats, they're down 50 grand. And they loved me for that. So I'd get there. I'm not going to say the name of the hotel, but the name was Schmard Rock. It was a nickname. They would, that's a young hotel. They'd give me like 5-10 grand in chips. That's the thing about the Wynn. You work at the class place, man. I have yet to stay at the Wynn. I got to get out there because I haven't been to Vegas in a long time. And I'm not looking for anything free, buddy. You're a good man. I'll go out. I'll pay my own way. But I just want to stay at a class joint like that. I really do.
Well, we want you to come out.
Yeah, we're trying. Well, first of all, I'll be out in May doing something else. But for sure, I can almost guarantee, John, in May I will be in Las Vegas.
You will be? Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
What's the date in May?
I'm not sure. I got to get it. I got to get the date.
Because remember, the Kentucky Derby is the first Saturday in May.
Right. That's right. Okay. And May is also a crazy time to go because a lot of the strippers, they have, it's a Mother's Day and they got to bring gifts. What do you got, a chubby half Filipino kid?
So, Artie, I wanted to backtrack. You said that the people that came to your show all lost a lot of money. Was that because you gave them selections,
yes,
or because everybody in that room kind of had the same vibe?
No, well, because they're like me.
Okay.
Imagine me, John, without the luck of being a comedian. Oofa, it's an ugly thing.
John, when Mrs. Avello wants to go to Fiji, what week do you go?
When she wants to go?
Yeah. Like what's a 2-week block that you can go where there's nothing going on?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm thinking about going to Italy in April for about 10 or 12 days. So I'm trying to find the spot where the Derby didn't go yet, and I'm through the March Madness and some other stuff. So that's a good spot for me. Another good spot for me is anytime after June 10th or so, right up until the end of August, I try to find my spots during the summer.
Yeah.
So that's it. I mean, if I don't do it then, I don't do it.
To me, like a lot of the guys, successful men like yourself, I ask them to go when your wife wants to go to Fiji. When do you go? Well, she goes to Fiji and I go to Miami. She goes to whenever she wants to go. It's like life gets complicated, but as long as that hooker will clap, I'm fine. And also as long as she claps and doesn't give me the clap, that's fine. Also, if you go out for Mother's Day. With a lot of these hookers do have children, and you got to make sure you bring gifts for the kids. And when you realize that they might be your kid, it's very, very difficult.
Wow, is that awkward?
Yeah. What would you get? Just say off the top of your head. This is not me. Say you had a friend who had an illegitimate 10-year-old, half chubby, half Filipino kid. What would you get him? A comp for steak?
No, I wouldn't go that route. It probably.
Would you
probably
steal
like
it?
a Manny Pacquiao doll.
What a perfect thing. I knew you were going to say something funny, but not that perfect. Manny Pacquiao doll. Here, buddy. See what this is? I was hoping for the 10 grand in chips. I was hoping for the hooker that claps. Okay, 5.5, John. 5.5 of the points, and you're going to say to me, I'm going to say I like the Panthers in a definite lock there. You're going to say you don't really agree with me, or do?
I'm not gonna say I agree or disagree.
Right. Okay.
I can't get involved.
I understand. We'll talk off the air.
I mean, I'm probably going to have a rooting interest come. But here's what happened last year. So I was in a similar spot. I mean, we're getting it was all Seattle money for the first 10 days. We were really heavy on Seattle. And then all of a sudden, in the last 24 hours, just a barrage of New England money, and everything flip-flopped.
Yeah.
So we actually needed Seattle for a ton of money. So, yeah, I don't know where we're going to land. And so and if I get too involved in the game, then I start putting my opinion in the number. Should I move it? Shouldn't I not move it? I don't want to do that. I'm just going to let everything kind of run its course, go where it needs to go, and then let's play the game.
Okay. All right. I mean, look, that's good, solid advice for anybody. But, I got some of the great prop bets here, and I want to... How about this is a pretty good one? Because it's not a funny one. It's actually a logical one, and I'm interested in what you think. Will Peyton Manning announce his retirement in the post-game interview? Interesting question.
What's the no?
The no is minus 1,000.
Yeah, you can lay that because he will not make that call during this game. He won't do that.
Not even post game.
Nope, that's not his style.
Okay, interesting. What if he yells out, "Omaha, I'm retired"? And they're down 50-0. They're down 50-0 midway through the fourth quarter. Omaha, I may not last to the end of the game.
You know, Artie, I just thought of something. So, Nationwide is on your side. That's like, and so his brother's an insurance agent for Nationwide.
Yes, I hope so. And he also sells.
Me too.
He sells Buicks too.
Me too. I hope he is for Nationwide.
Omaha, Cooper, start the Buick. I'm the fuck out of here.
I got a couple Artie props for you.
Go right ahead.
So this one's called Crash and Burn. It's called Crash and Burn. So it's, will Carolina ever have more than a 10.5 point lead and then lose the game?
Wow.
Yeah, that's.
I'm going to say no. I'll tell you what. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say if Carolina gets 10 in a hookup, no way they lose. Ever.
Right, and you got to lay some pretty good juice there.
I was going to say, what is it? What are we looking at?
You got to lay 550 to 1.
I would assume
5.5 to 1.
I would assume. Yeah, no, they get. You know what? It's a lot of money to lay down to win, and that makes gambling kind of boring there too. Because I don't think that with that D and Cam Newton, and if they get that kind of momentum, no way.
No, I agree. And here's my second prop. This is my Artie. Probably call it the gambler.
Go ahead.
Okay, will Brock Osweiler take a snap from center?
Yes.
You say yes.
I think it happens at one point, yeah, because, well, no, it's interesting. I think it happens.
You have to think about it because will Peyton ever come out if he doesn't get hurt?
I think
will they pull him for any reason whatsoever?
I think at one point they might. I'm going to say yes. Yes on that. Okay.
You get plus money, plus 220.
Yeah, I was going to say with the odds too. Okay, good. Again, those are great questions that a guy who knows what he's doing comes up with. But some of these ones are some of them are ridiculous. Does Peyton cry? In the post game during the entire broadcast, does he cry?
That could be tricky because what happens if he's got water in his eyes because they poured a jug over him or something?
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, but that's a photo finish. Like a lot of bookies in Staten Island going, "What are you talking about? It's the Gatorade." I don't like that at all. Don't like it at all. Yeah, but that's the whole thing of I was arguing with somebody obviously you don't take bets on the Oscars because that's controlled and stuff like that. Do you take bets on the Academy Awards?
No, but I put the odds up.
You did. Are you what I was going to say?
I've been doing that for 20 years now. Academy Awards.
Well, listen, the Academy Awards have no black guys, but the Super Bowl has no white guys.
Yeah, right.
We're fine with it.
You may be seeing us taking odds on the Academy Awards in the next few years. There's
no
a possibility of that.
No kidding.
You're not going to see us taking bets on the color of the Gatorade or or how long they're going to sing the national anthem. Because I'll tell you why. Because I could see you, Artie, at the game on the 45-yard line, and you got a bet on how long it's going to go, and your bet over. And then as she's singing, you're there with all these facial expressions
that's what I mean.
Slow her right down, almost to a point where she stops singing. I mean, that's why I can't take that bet.
Who's singing it?
Oh, this year I don't know.
Who's singing it, Dan? Is it Adele?
No.
If it's Adele, I'll just be there with a roast beef sandwich. And you're gonna let me rolling with is that mayonnaise on it?
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga, baby.
Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah, you could definitely get to her already.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't even know what she looks like.
And Coldplay is the halftime.
Coldplay. Oh my God, that is a fruity Super Bowl. John, your thoughts? Can they get gayer with the? And Coldplay's not gay; he gets a lot of ass. But I'm saying, could they get gayer though with the halftime show? Could we, if they want it more effeminate, can we have one thing that's just for guys? Just for guys. I don't need Madonna with the crazy, bra with the points, and she's 52 years old. Give me Madonna when she's 28. And Bruno Mars, what the hell does he do? By the way, I met a Bruno Mars fan in the bathroom at the Jets Super Bowl when at the Super Bowl at MetLife in New York. I was giving him a lot of shit, and I gotta say, I met a guy with a Bruno Mars shirt on in the men's room. Great guy, great hand job, really great guy.
Well, I think Coldplay's inviting Bruno Mars up on stage.
No, he's not.
Yeah, they are.
Well, to do what? What do they even
They
sing?
were on 60 Minutes.
What does Bruno Mars sing?
I don't even know. But
Yes, you do.
I don't know. I don't know why they would invite.
Dan,
they said they were going to invite Bruno Mars and Beyonce.
Dan knows all this gay information until I press
I
him
watched
on it.
60 Minutes, John. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
60 Minutes.
He also called Springsteen.
What? What are you talking about? And what did
the
Springsteen
Coldplay
say?
guy.
What did Springsteen say?
Springsteen said,
No.
He said, you better know all your music.
Yeah, right, yeah. Springsteen said, get Bruno Mars off the stage. Matter of fact, you get off the stage. When you dial a guy, B-R-U, the next letter better be C, not N. Bruno Mars. Hey, Bruce, will you share the stage with Bruno Mars? Will you share the stage with my fist when I punch you in the fucking face? Are you a Springsteen fan, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him, right? That's when music was music. Come on. Bruno Mars.
I remember going on the shore when I was 14, 16 years old.
Yeah.
I remember him. He was playing down there in Asbury Park, and that was at the time. I didn't know he was going to turn out to be a
Yeah, right.
kind of star he is.
The biggest
but,
guy. I mean, that's the difference. I can remember getting my first blowjob to Bruce Springsteen, and that guys nowadays remember giving their first one to Bruno Mars. I got my first blowjob to Springsteen. I gave my first one to Coldplay. You fucking assholes! Now they got guys nowadays selling out arenas. They have a laptop, DJ Tiesto. He mixes up music. No guitars anymore. Remember, you go see the Stones. You're screaming at guitar solo, drums. Now a guy checks his emails for 2 hours.
Tiesto plays here,
Of course he does. He's huge. These guys,
and he makes some huge money.
Yeah, you know what else makes huge money? The Molly dealers. That's who makes huge fucking money. The fucking guys who sell Molly to my fucking whore and she misses her hands when she tries to clap creates a big argument. The MDHA is too pure. I couldn't. My hands missed each other. I didn't take your watch. Then all of a sudden I'm fighting with a whore on the 8th floor of the Wynn place. Do you kick that element out, right? Do you have guys who walk around at the Wynn because it's a classy place? Do you just try to spot these ne'er-do-wells, these Johns and their whores?
If at 2:30, 3 in the morning, yes.
Yes, absolutely. So at 4:30, I'm cool.
You know the Daisy Carnival? Are you familiar with that? The Daisy Carnival?
No, I'm straight.
Oh.
What's the Daisy? What is that? There's all these events. What is that?
Comes to town. It's an event that takes place down at the Speedway, an outdoor concert for 3 days.
By speed, you mean meth?
So you want to see? That's when you want to be here because that's when you'll see some people that you might recognize from about 35 years ago.
Really? Oh my God.
It's Electric Daisy Carnival. That's
oh my God, electric. That's what happens. A lot of these kids are rich kids too. They're mad at their parents. They have nothing to do. They have no skills, like those millennials who can't get a job. And they just, get on this MDHA. They go to the Daisy Carnival. And then the other half of the crowd are these, kids who grew up poor. They're con men, and they live off those people. They rip them off. And quite frankly, I'm rooting for the people ripping off the guys. Because the Daisy Carnival, what even happens? It's like DJ Tiesto, right? It's like a rave. They just play
Electric Daisy Carnival.
Right.
Yeah, I think you should come to it.
Okay.
Or the Burning Man. You know what the Burning Man.
I know the Burning Man.
All right.
Yeah, I know the Burning Man. Yeah.
Electric Daisy Carnival is coming to New York at Citi Field.
It's the Met game.
At May 4th.
We call it a Met Cardinal game here.
May 14th. May 14th and 15th.
John likes that one. Yeah.
Tickets start at $337.
Hey, guess what? Bye. What did they do, Dan? Describe it. Is it a guy checking?
I don't know about it.
It's a guy checking his email. Instead of yelling out for a drum solo, you yell out, "Hit the space bar." What do you think's happening with society, John? Especially with music, this generation, we got the electric carnival. Nobody plays guitar anymore. Sports are getting more and more pussied up. You can't hit this guy here. There's seminars. No gluten in a muffin. No more cocaine. It's a NutriBullet with kale. I mean, do you think we're going into it's a very effeminate generation. This generation's Clint Eastwood appears to be Neil Patrick Harris. You know what I'm saying?
What about the gun situation? That's getting worse, Artie.
Yeah, everyone wants your guns.
We're going one way on some things, like you mentioned, but we're going the opposite way on, probably the most violent things.
Exactly. It's getting backwards. What about? I know maybe you don't like to get political, but what do you think of any thoughts on the politics going on with the Trump and the Rubios and the ha-ha and the hoo-hees?
I'm loving it.
It's very entertaining.
It's an absolute show to me. So
do you put up props on that, like the caucuses?
I can't.
Can't
and
do that,
I want
right?
to so badly.
Are you allowed to get political? I won't put you on the spot. Are you rooting for anybody? Are you registered as anything? I mean, there's Trump. There's
Not registered as anything.
Yeah.
My personal opinion is that I always vote for who I think's going to do the best job for us, and that's
right.
it. I mean, it could be any of it. Whoever you see now may not be any of them. Who knows? Or maybe somebody else come out of the woodwork in the last 6 months or so. So I'm just enjoying the whole show on the Republican side, to be honest with you. I think it's, anytime Trump is in a debate,
it's the best.
It's the best. I mean, it's just...
well, he's the winner. People don't realize
pure
this.
entertainment.
He's the winner. People don't realize this. In Iowa, all the hookers in Iowa, they changed the name of something. Right now in Iowa, all the whores agreed to do this. After that big stay... Right now, they changed it. Last night they did this in a caucus. They had a caucus. They said, listen, from now on, the act of giving a man oral sex while he's taking a shit is now called a Trumpkin. It used to be called a Blumpkin. Now it's a Trumpkin. So he's the big winner. John, your thoughts? Would you like a Trumpkin?
I'm speechless on that one.
Caucus. You win the caucus. You're now a Trumpkin.
I'm speechless on
That's
that
what we call very, 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 very juvenile humor. That's why I'm not going to win an Emmy or a Peabody Award like, Two Broke Girls. Hey, how about this? A Cuban guy could be the president. There's 2 Cubans running. How great would that be? Like from I Love Lucy, the State of the Union, the speaker goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President, you got some splaining to do." You got some splaining to do. And she catches him with Monica Lewinsky. The first lady goes, "Ew." Mr. President, don't you have to be down at the club?
Are you gonna be a moderator at the next debate?
You know what, John? I was thinking of a way to use that bit. You just came up with the perfect scenario. I'm the moderator for Fox. Hey, okay. Hey, Rubio and Cruz, you got some splaining to do. You gonna build a wall or what? John, you're the best. I was thinking to myself, how do I use the Cuban bit? And I said, that's it, I'm the moderator. Megyn Kelly, he says you're on your period again. Mr. Trump, is it true Megyn Kelly gave you a Trumpkin? You got some. Oh, that's so funny.
It'll be heavily watched, I can tell you that.
Heavily watched? Don't forget it. I'd watch it over the Super Bowl.
But it'd be on pay-per-view, though. That's the only...
Exactly. It would need to be on pay-per-view. Oh, that's amazing. That's fantastic stuff. Like Fred Mertz and Ethel are downstairs, like the vice president. Chris Christie. Who ate all the food? Chris Christie. What do you think of Chris Christie? Do you think he could drop a couple? If Chris Christie lost about 400 pounds, could he make it? He's odd to look at.
He's an intelligent guy. I mean,
he is, absolutely. He's a Jersey guy, but, could you imagine accidentally seeing him taking a shit with his shirt off?
Oh, my God.
Forget about it. You got some splaining to do. And he got the lap band. That's him after the operation. I sat, this is a true story. And Jimmy Fallon put this picture up on the Tonight Show, and I did it. It was so funny. I played softball with Chris Christie in a charity game, Giuliani, all these guys. And we were in these tight uniforms. I thought I looked fat. I sat next to Chris Christie. I looked like Sarah Jessica Parker. I looked fantastic. And Dan took the picture. It was on the Tonight Show. And, I looked like one of the Olsen twins next to that guy. He's a big guy. Did you ever see him out in Vegas?
No.
Yeah. Listen, man. What if he takes up 2 seats at the blackjack table? How do you work that? Does he get 2 hands?
Did you say he had a lap dance?
No, band. I said band.
That band, okay.
No, Lucy, I said band, Mr. President. You're not supposed every episode, every State of the Union is an hour-long episode. Oh, the moderator. We got to write that bit up where I'm the moderator.
I think so. He'll be great.
It'll be fantastic. It'll start off with a Trumpkin. That's disgusting, a lot of those sex acts. All right, so give me this. Under, over, and field goals. Do you have that up there? I always love this. I always love under, over, and field. Give me for the half and for the game.
For the first half, it's 1.5. For the game, it's 3.5.
Okay, see, this is where I'm a sucker. 1.5. So if the first half has 2 field goals total, you win. I take the over every time with that, and it's probably the bet out of overall any bet on any sport in history I've been beat on is taking the over in field goals because I get lured in. I mean, don't you think, John? There's more than 2. There's 2 field goals in the first half.
Yeah, because you're thinking that there's going to be one in the last 2 minutes of the game of the first half.
There should be, right? Yeah.
You're thinking there's one there, but sometimes there's no score in the last 2 minutes.
You're right.
And then sometimes there's a touchdown in the last 2 minutes. So it sounds right, but it doesn't always work out.
It's right. It sounds right, and that's why it's a sucker bet to me, and I get burned on it a lot. But a great bet, and 3.5 for the game. So you need another. If they get 2 in the first half, you need another 2 in the second. But
3.5. It's if you bet the first half, you have to lay some more juice for the over.
Oh, you
if
do?
You bet under the 3.5 for the game, you have to lay some juice there, too.
What's the total juice of the whole thing, then?
Well, going over 1.5 in the first half, you got to lay $1.40.
Right.
Going under 3.5, you have to lay $1.50.
See, I'm the type of jerk. I'm willing. I'll pay that price every time. But
play the juice. If you're going to win it, who cares?
I'll pay that price every time. I love it. I do love gambling on this level. It is great. Now, what about interceptions? Here we go. Will Cam Newton throw how many interceptions? What's on Cam Newton alone? Give me under, over.
Well, we got it up a couple different ways. So, the right number is will he throw 1? That's
right.
The right number, but we can't use that. So we have to use 1.5.
Okay. Right, you need a hook.
So you
got
to lay some really significant juice for under 1.5.
What am I looking at?
$2.
Yeah. No, that's not true. I mean, how do you see? That's where I didn't follow the league as much this year. How do you do in that stat, Cam Newton with throwing picks?
He threw. Let's see. I got something here on.
I was gonna say what everyone says. What was the QB rating and everything? Everyone says MVP immediately with him. I didn't see what kind of year he had because he
threw 10 interceptions all year. That's pretty good.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, that's really good.
He's known for taking chances too. He'll throw in a triple coverage and stuff. He's got that arm strength that's amazing.
Well, he throws the ball so hard that it's hard for the defender to try to get a key on coming up for the interception because the ball's there before the defender gets to make his move. I think that's one of his strengths. That's why he doesn't throw as many interceptions. He throws interceptions on guys that don't catch the ball and it goes up in the air. And
right, that's what happens. Grabs. Yeah, that happened to Marino a lot too. Because Marino, obviously not as flexible as him, but in that pocket, man, Marino would. This was one of my favorite things to watch as a football fan. Frustrating for Dolphin fans at times, frustrating for Jet fans when he completed the pass. But Marino be in that pocket, the last second you'd think he's going to take a sack, and he would just wind up and like a bullet out of the chamber, fire into triple coverage and hit the guy sometimes. But a lot of times the ball's going so fast, either the D-back or the receiver didn't know what was coming to him. It would hit like Mark Duper on the shoulder pad, and he'd throw an interception like that. And that's what happens with Cam Newton, too, only he's also flexible, Newton. He moves around and then throws on the run. And,
he is.
Yeah.
You watch him run. He's like a thoroughbred out there running the football.
Unbelievable.
That's what makes him so dangerous.
Yeah. Smart player, athletic player, field general, young, made out of granite. And look, a good story, too, because he was in that massive car accident. And that was a rough one. He came back from it, and got $50 million. Oh, wait, that's Tracy Morgan. Now, listen. So in a way you root for. Who do you like in your heart? Without giving a prediction, in your heart, do you think do you root for Peyton Manning as the old guard? You want Newton to get a ring? What do you think? What do you think? Sentiment of the country.
I'd like to see Peyton Manning have a good game.
Right.
It's not so important that he wins it, but I don't want to see that last Super Bowl game he had against Seattle. He was lost
Terrible
in that game.
I was at the game in the DirecTV got me my tickets, of course, so I was way in the upper deck. And true story, kind of flattering but annoying. I was with my fiance, and 14 guys behind me in jet jerseys knew the movie Beer League verbatim, literally recited the film to me. And I was flattered, and my girlfriend was flattered too, but I'm like, well, this is getting kind of annoying because the people that didn't know the movie, who were substantial, are going, why are these people yelling this stupid shit out? And, it's like a picture with them and stuff. But from the first play, when, that safety and that first hit that the Seattle linebacker had over the middle, you just knew they were going to get dominated, the Broncos, and Peyton looked lost. He looked lost.
If the first play is a safety in this game, I'm walking out of here.
I was gonna say, dude, what were the odds on that?
We 100 to 1. We were stuck.
Wow!
We were stuck 6 figures. Let's see, what was that? Like 6 seconds into the game.
Wow! I'm gonna say, I was talking to when that happened. I was talking to my girl. I said, you know what? That is so rare. And I was thinking of you, Johnny. In Vegas, I go, there's a lot of high rollers who probably got all this money to burn, who go, they throw maybe $5-10 on it sometimes a year, $1,000 at least. Let me throw it on it. What the fuck? Because I got the money. Why not? And then you get burned. One of those you get burned. Imagine how crazy you go if you got the kind of juice where you throw down 10 G's on that just for the fuck of it because you got the money and you're up first play. Holy shit.
And the way they did it, it wasn't like they had the ball at the 3-yard line. He got sacked. The ball got hiked over his head.
Over his head. I mean, that center. That's his first fucking snap in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It was all downhill from there, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. That's like the Yul Brynner and the King and I messing up the first line, the 1,000th performance. What the fuck happened, Yul? I mean, you've been doing this forever. The first televised one. You fuck up the first line. I'm sorry. I had the different person shave my head this morning. Listen, I love it. I love it. It's so exciting. Gambling makes everything more exciting.
Hey, John, were you doing odds when the Raiders played and John Ritchie's center took off? Remember he had bipolar.
You know who John Ritchie is?
John Ritchie?
Yeah, what year was that?
Raiders, it was the 2006 or 7 when the guy had bipolar and against Tampa Bay. And it didn't show up. What happens with that? Does the line change or what? Well, you don't even know till the end, right?
Not real. I mean...
Is that your question then? I think
yeah.
so.
Did you know that... Was there like news reports that he had disappeared or...
No, I don't remember that.
No, the Raiders wouldn't let that go. They were the only ones that know. Unless the whore in Tijuana called them. That is an interesting thing. I'm sorry to bring this up.
I don't remember getting any reports on that until really late, and at that time was too late.
Dan, is there a reason you stopped a really fun conversation for that question?
Yeah, they were talking about it today on all the sports shows. Who's the running back? Was it Marcus?
Well, let's stop. Let's stop. I mean, there's a reason we don't talk about it because they're boring. But an interesting bet, but nothing much to say about it. That guy, by the way, is in a mental institution. Do you know that, John?
No.
John Ritchie, I mean.
No, I didn't know that.
No, of course not. John Ritchie, our old partner, by the way, running for Senate in Pennsylvania. Now, he's going to be senator in Pennsylvania. Now, what if he gets a hold of any 30 seconds of tape with me? I mean, come on. Come on, John. I don't even think he was running for Senate. On my old DirecTV show, he's making fun of retarded people every show. Oh, God. They're going to go, Mr. Ritchie, you got some splaining to do. I can't stop doing that now. So, John, I come out there in May. Give me the scenario. You're going to have shrimp set up, shrimp cocktail. Let me buy you dinner, buddy. You have been so good to the show, man. We're
going to pick you up at the airport.
Yeah.
We're going to bring you in here. You're going to roll out the red carpet. There's going to be people screaming on both sides of the carpet.
Nice. Electric Daisy tickets.
Electric Daisy Carnival tickets.
Oh man! I'll tell you why, John. I'm not just saying you're such a perfect guest. You're so good to us. I'll tell you why. Because you do work for a big corporate job, but it's gambling. It should be fun. It should be laid out. But you have a sense of humor. You're not afraid to laugh and have fun and goof around. You know why? Because you're good at what you do. People know you're good at what you do. So you're confident. And the jokes are always great, the sense of humor is great, and the real stuff's great because when you get serious, it's always great information. So we appreciate it. And I can't.
Well, Artie, thank you. Now go ahead and hit me. Go ahead and hit me. Go ahead.
I'm not. That's a real thing, brother. I'm talking to Paisan from Jersey, and I'll tell you what. I am looking forward to going out there. It's been I used to own Vegas, man, in my own way because of Stern Show. I go out there, they treated me nice, and I haven't been there in a long time. I'm looking forward to it and to do it properly like an adult this time, but to win with John Novello. Again, not looking for anything free. We're gonna have fun. I want to buy you dinner. I want to say thank you.
I'm looking forward to that.
I want to say thank you for doing it. And then after dinner, we're gonna have fun and hang out and do some gambling and whatever. And you come to my stand-up show. We're booking some stand-up.
Okay, perfect.
So what do you think? So again, real quick, we got some of the props thing. You don't have to say either way, but if I went with, and it's rare that it's not a prop bet I love the most. If I went with Panthers in a cover, laying 5.5, you wouldn't call me crazy for doing that.
Not at all.
Right. Okay. There you go. Well, again, you always hope for a good game, but if I bet that, obviously, I want to blow out early. But Peyton Manning, okay, you got the hard throwing guy, and I'll leave you with this: the young hard throwing guy. Peyton Manning really has embraced the fact that he might have lost some arm strength and worked on the accuracy. And even in that Indianapolis Bears Super Bowl, that famous pass that he hit early on, that undroppable little pocket right over the middle. Dan, I'm sorry. He always had that thing where it was more accuracy than arm strength. Do you think there's any way? It's an interesting story because of that. The old guy with the soft accuracy and with the ring and Cam Newton. It's a great matchup, right?
I think that the Panthers are more. I think their strength is more their offense. I think their defense is okay, probably better than average. They're not the Seattle Seahawks.
No, absolutely.
And so I think Peyton can have some success against them. Right. I just don't want him to. I would hate to see the guy get blown out like 49-6.
Yeah.
Two Super Bowls in a row where we're total disaster. So I'd like to see him have a good game. Even if he doesn't win, I'd like to see him go out on top. That's kind of out on top. I mean,
sure.
As long as he performs well.
Did you hear the tragic story about Pete Carroll? Pete Carroll had a special promotion that he did with a local bank in Seattle. His entire salary for the next 5 years, they put as a promotion. They put in one ATM machine, and they gave him a special ATM card with a PIN number. And he just had to go in and put the card in as a promotion on live TV and get the money. And he went up to the ATM thing on live TV. There was like $10 million in there. And instead of putting the card in, he stopped and threw it at the machine. And then when the card hit, he stopped a foot from the ATM and for some reason threw it at the machine. It missed, it fell down, and then out of nowhere, his ex-wife picked it up, put it in, got the money, and left. And you got some spraying to do. Oh, that's great.
That's hilarious.
You could use that one, Johnny. I love you, and thanks for the greatest idea for the spraying and do Cuban thing. I'm going to do a moderator bit. We'll call you.
Okay, guys. Talk soon.
Best ever, John. I love you.
Bye.
Bye, John.
The great John Novello. That's a good guy, man. Again, we're blessed with a lot of great guests, but again, he's a guy that, the props to Danny for always keeping me on top of John. He's like, he's a good guest. We should have him, and he's always right. Because he's got sense of humor. A lot of guys are so uptight out there. It's a big corporation he works for. And that guy wins. Seems like a nice guy, but he probably definitely runs a tight ship out there. But he doesn't care because John's clearly great at what he does. He never goes too far over the line, has a great sense of humor, and is on top. Accurate as accurate can be with the odds. Great sports guy. Guy's guest and sense of humor. So thank you, John Novello. It was a long one, almost an hour with him because we have so much fun. Take a break. Back in.
All right, we're ready.
We're back on. Dan does that really cool. By the way, thanks, John Novello, again. Awesome guest. Dan does that really cool thing I know Flippin' doing. There's nobody around to test the mic. He does the snap. That's a cool broadcaster thing. When there's nobody around to say test, you snap into the mic.
Right.
That's a cool fucking little insight. Yeah, I never saw that at Stern. There was always somebody around to yell into the microphone for Scott the engineer. Say test. But you get that boom. We're on. Okay, so much going on in the world, and the HBO is crowbarred in very, very quietly. The Epic. The Godfather epic, which, by the way, epic is one of these young asshole words. Did you notice that? You talk to a young person, even you date a young chick, they say, like, if they, like, a lot of times what I do is, any comic who's fat and ugly like me will tell you this, or just ugly or not good with women, they'll tell you, the reason you invite a chick to see you do stand-up, the reason you get into stand-up is for pussy. What's the reason a guy does anything? You become president, pussy. Donald Trump, deep down, knows that this is not his last wife, and he wants to be president. You know what I mean? He knows. He wants to be president because the next chick is going to see him be president, man, and it's pussy. And this pussy he has now might be getting bored. She looks like bored pussy. You know what I mean? She looks like bored Eastern European pussy. And there's nothing worse than bored Eastern European pussy. Then you see this poor woman in an interview. I feel bad for her. When there's adversity in the family, like, this horrible, he was ripped off clearly in Iowa, him and Ben Carson. And
that's your official.
That's my official. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, first of all, what he did, what
commentary,
what Cruz's campaign headquarters did to Ben Carson is criminal. People just glaze over stories in politics. Ben Carson announced he was going to go to Florida to relax and rest a little bit after a long campaign. The guy's a doctor. You rip two heads apart, you might need some rest. He's a private citizen. He likes to rest. And, people who may or may not be from his race do enjoy a rest.
He needs to see that painting in his house with him and Jesus.
Right. He has a painting of him and Jesus Christ that he commissioned someone to do. A guy like that doesn't, rest on Sunday. If you have a painting, if you have scriptures and actual words from the Bible, verses from the Bible, sandblasted into the side of your new home, misspelled a couple times, by the way, like literally sandblasted into the side of Ben Carson's new home in Florida that he bought from ripping two kids' heads apart. Again, I don't know if that's a great thing. Did those kids want those heads ripped apart? It's like, now what? It's like we took out Saddam Hussein. Now what? we separated Hussein from Iraq, and chaos happened. Those two kids were, walking along. Maybe not walking. They were getting pushed along with their heads attached, and that was it. They learned how to live life a little bit there, working together. It's like James Worthy and Magic Johnson. No dish look. Boom, boom, boom. They were happy. And then here comes Ben Carson trying to make a name for himself, fresh out of medical school, and takes the two heads apart. And, maybe the kids are going, whoa, what are you doing, Doc? Whoa, we didn't sign up for this. What are you doing? Well, we're separating your heads. Whoa, who okayed that? Your parents? Well, we're just getting used to this. Like, now what? Now we're walking around without each other. Who gets the dick? Who gets the balls? Major issues. And, it's like a divorce. They hire a lawyer. It gets bad. Who gets custody of certain things? Who gets custody of the good part of the liver? Who gets the pancreas? Gets very ugly, like a divorce. And he doesn't care. He wants to make a name for himself. So he just rips the two heads apart and, lets the lawyers figure it out. And he buys a house in Florida. Mr. Big Deal. Gets in the news and becomes, a presidential candidate based on it. Okay? A picture, then he buys, major money he spent for this. A painting of him with Jesus Christ. And by the way, some people in Florida, in the Bible Belt there in Sanford, or whoever, those trailer parks, I think some of them believe it's really Jesus. It's not. It's not. Very hard to get Jesus to sit for a painting. Costs a lot of money. He's the most expensive guy. The second is, I believe, Steven Seagal. To sit for a painting. I just read the greatest script ever written. Really, Steven? Who wrote it? I did. That's Steven Seagal too, Rob Schneider. So I don't know. A guy like that's very religious, and he needs a rest. He rests on Sunday. So you announce that I'm going to go rest. Ted Cruz's campaign, those people go, okay, we're going to take this opportunity. He's telling everybody he quit. What? Not just everybody in the political scene, the whole world. Cruz gets flyers. Give this to your friends, to civilians who are going to vote. Quick memo. The guy who's almost as tied with me in the polls, the black doctor who ripped the two kids' heads apart. He's done. He's done. He announced he's quitting the race for president. You think that fucking gives him a few more votes, rattles it up a little bit? You don't think his Karl Rove, whoever he is, ran the numbers and said, look, it'll rattle up the race enough if he's out or people think he's out to where you're going to be in good shape. It'll help you. Maybe help you win, which is what he fucking did. It hurts Trump, and it's fraud if it's true. He's denying it, but that, a lot of people are saying it's true. So Trump looks like the bitter asshole because he lost, yelling it out from the mountaintops. But with the information I have, Trump has an excellent point. And of course, Carson's mad, siding with Trump on this.
Unnamed sources? The Artie Lang unnamed sources?
What are you talking about?
The information that you have?
What are you talking about? I'm talking about the information that's on the news.
Oh, okay.
It's on television.
I thought maybe you had an inside track on something.
Here's the face I'm making. Is that easy? It's easy, right?
Yeah, I figured that one out.
Are you being condescending with my knowledge? What do you know about it? Give me your take on it. Do you know something more? Can you sound smarter than I just did?
No,
I was fun of me.
I'm not making fun of you.
What are the unknown sources? What are they? What did I say that you can make fun of?
I would.
You said the Artie Lang unnamed source, saying Artie Lang like I'm an idiot, and people. Like,
no, that's not what I was saying.
The joke that you're trying for. Artie Lang unnamed sources because I'm
that
dumb.
You have inside political connections.
Right, and that sounds dumb.
No, it does not.
Because I'm Artie Lang. Right, that's the joke you're going for.
No, it's not.
It's a good one. I wonder if Gino's laughing at it. No, but like if you say that about a smart guy, it's not a joke. But me, I'm a slob, so you go, okay, Artie Lang unnamed. What's your take on it? Give me what's inaccurate about what I just said. I'm basing that on what I heard in the media.
Everything you said.
Actually, you told me.
Everything that you said was right.
Right.
And it's even worse in Iowa because they have that caucuses. So if you get an email saying Carson dropped out, your little group where you have to shuffle back and forth in rooms makes it worse.
Right.
But the thing that I
just pretend you sound smart.
Yeah. The thing that drives me crazy is I have not heard one constitutional lawyer say Ted Cruz can be president.
What are you talking about?
Because he was born in Canada.
Yeah. Well, I haven't heard one black joke either. What are you talking about? The other, that's a completely other issue that Trump brought up. That he's not a citizen. So
he's not.
Right. Well, is he? No, he is.
He's not. He would.
I've heard a lot of constitutional lawyers say it. They're saying on the air. The O'Reilly's guy said it. He had a guy on. Who else is a lawyer? Megyn Kelly's a lawyer. And she said, yeah.
That he can be president?
Absolutely. His mother was. You explained it to me, Dan. You explained it to me why you're a citizen. You weren't born here either.
But I was born on an army base.
Yeah, but his mother was a citizen. Correct? Dan, you explained to me why he's a citizen 2 days ago. What changed?
But not a natural. I was born on.
No. But you explained to me. Forget you. Why you explained to me 2 days ago why Ben Carson could be president and he's a citizen.
Ted Cruz.
What you said to me, what Ted Cruz? Well, Ben for another reason. But Ted Cruz, okay? Well, you explained to me why he could be. Now, what changed?
I think that's going to become a big issue.
What changed? What do you think? You explained to me personally why, yes, he's a citizen. His mom is a citizen. Had him overseas.
Had him in another country. And I think she had dual.
Overseas.
Yeah, I think she had dual citizenship also. So my dad didn't have dual citizenship.
It wasn't overseas. It was Canada.
Yeah, he was in the United States Army.
So what changed? You told me he could be. So he's not a citizen.
I think that there's going to be a bigger fight than.
You told me though he was a citizen the other day. Like what changed?
Because I'm a citizen.
So what does that mean?
But mine isn't as sketchy as his. There's some weird sketchy stuff with him.
What is it?
Then he was trying to say that maybe he was born in Buffalo, New York, or there was some. I don't know. There's just something. I don't know.
That would really make him a citizen.
I get a weird feeling that this is not the last we've heard of this issue.
Where are you getting that story? Where's the weird stuff coming from?
Just my gut feeling.
Your gut feeling,
right?
Your unnamed sources.
My unnamed sources.
I don't get it. Something changed. Like you don't like him now for some reason.
That I don't like what?
You don't like him for some reason now. I
thought it was a dirty trick.
You were making a very strong argument why Trump was wrong in that case, as were a lot of people. Bill O'Reilly actually said, it's ridiculous. He's a citizen. I'll never speak about it again. Then he was forced to.
Right.
Megyn Kelly's a lawyer said that.
But I see all these constitutional lawyers saying that he might not be. Well, I don't know their names.
What you said? All these constitutional
I see them on television saying
that
on the news programs.
Google one.
All right, I'll Google one. This is not what I thought we were going to talk about.
Well, because you brought it up. You just say shit that you know, you think people just don't argue with you.
Well, you don't. Okay.
Forget it. You know, you're making fun of me for being dumb. And
I never said it. You are taking that wrong.
All right, let's just move on. I don't want you to look that up. All these constitutional words.
Okay, let's talk about the important stuff. What we were supposed to talk about.
I don't want to anymore.
Oh.
Are we over an hour?
I made 20 notes.
Well, who cares about your notes? Are we over an hour yet?
We're close.
All right. You know, so that's it. So Trump is arguing and he's bitter about this latest thing, and he's got a right to be. That what happened is wrong. What happened with Ted Cruz is wrong. He should not have sent that out. That's bullshit. God, it's the wind that got taken out of my sails. We got to figure out a crew here where I could, you know, that'll encourage me to talk more. You know, and I'm comfortable being funny around. You know, because it's a lot of it's just, you know, whoa, wet blanket type shit. What else?
So you started talking about The Godfather.
Yeah.
The Godfather epic.
Right. No, I had a whole bit about the epic thing, and I got derailed. What were you gonna say?
Okay, so here are the scenes from The Godfather epic that I think are very important. Is that the look that I give normally?
All the time.
All right, here are the scenes that I think that are very important that HBO is running The Godfather epic. I don't know why Francis Ford Coppola didn't put him in the original Godfather. They make the difference to me on a lot of things. And that Bob Evans, is that his name, Bob Evans? The kid stays in the picture guy? Robert Evans? Come on. All right, so here are the scenes that are very important to me. When they're in his office at the wedding, and they're talking about what to do with the embalmers, the daughter that got raped and beat up, and Marlon Brando says to Sonny, "Hey, you paying attention?" That's a really important scene. You want me to continue? All right, Hyman Roth. How they find Hyman Roth? He was stealing cars, and then they made him his driver. That's a really important scene to me. When they go to see the consigliere at the hospital, and then Michael and Marlon Brando get into like that little discussion, that irritating discussion about, hey, what's all the Christmas ribbons on your chest there, and why didn't you come to me? You can see that that's a little of the irritation between the two of them. The Jack Waltz part with the young girl, when he go out to California, when Tom Hagen goes out there and he sees that he has a young girlfriend who's under 16, and then they talk about it when Tom Hagen comes back. And these are all parts that are very small. I don't understand why he couldn't have put them in. The Michael and Kay in bed when they fake that they're out of the country. Remember when they were calling to pass up on going to the house for Christmas that day, and they're in the hotel room, and she makes Michael makes Kay say that she's a long distance operator and they won't be until tomorrow. That one's not so important. That Barzini brought in Fabrizio, who killed Apollonia. That is very important, and that only takes up 30 seconds. How could Coppola have not let that in? I thought a very important scene after the Godfather gets shot, that Sonny goes and talks to his mother and says, listen, do you know what happened? And she goes, I gotta go to the hospital. And then he starts to make the calls to the capo regimes, and he doesn't sit in his father's chair. I thought that was very important. The one where Clemenza, before he kills Paulie, where he goes and sits at the restaurant, that one isn't so important. There's a scene with Fabrizio and the other bodyguard where Fabrizio keeps on asking Michael if he can come to New York with him and to be his bodyguard. And are you really a mafia son? I think that's very important. When Michael's going through the town of Corleone, he says, "Where have all the men gone?" And that they're all dead. The extended fight with Connie and Carlo before the whore calls the house, and they get into the fight where he beats her up. And none of these are important to you?
Is that it?
Well, no, I got a couple more. Let's see. Don Fanucci at the theater. When there's an extended version where he's telling you you don't have enough Sicilian songs in there, and in Godfather Part 2, and when it's not Marlon Brando, when De Niro is there with the thing, that one it's not as important as the other ones. Let's see. I think that Michael, after Apollonia is blown up, when he's in the hospital bed, Fabrizio, I think and it only takes 10 seconds. I don't understand why you couldn't keep that one in. Anthony at his, was it confirmation, walking up to the button men and Kay grabbing him back and saying, "Don't go in that area." I think that's very telling. Sonny's daughter going to Michael to get engaged, and Michael, I think that's a very important scene. That one took a little longer. Michael killing Fabrizio, I think that's a very important scene.
Right.
Neary beating up Klingman in the casino before the scene of the senator and Michael, the hypocrisy scene. I think that's very important. That was the last one I could remember. Those are the ones that I could remember. Those are the very important. I don't understand why you didn't put those.
There's a lot of people wonder what I do for a living, what my skill is as a person. You just heard it. That's what a radio show sounds like.